Welcome everyone, Dylan Gemelli here today with a brand new video for you, and today it's going to be kind of a rant, and I'm sorry, but we got to talk about this. And the question I'm going to answer is, do you need to run huge amounts of steroids to make gains? But before we get into that, just a big quick shout out and thank you to everybody out there supporting and watching the channel. I cannot thank you enough. You guys are amazing. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, like, share, whatever you can do, comment. It only helps the channel to grow. It feeds that algorithm and it allows me to produce more and more content for you each and every day. I cannot thank you enough for the support. Please keep it coming. Also, today's video is sponsored by letsgetchecked.com. Now, letsgetchecked.com is a company that specializes in at-home blood testing. They are seamless, they are so easy, and the results come extremely fast. So all that you do is go to the website, pick your test out. They have so many options for you for men and women. They have wellness, they have even COVID testing at home, they have sexual health, hormonal testing, they have it all. So check them out. Gemelli 30 is going to save you 30% off your entire order. And look, when you get that kit, you send it right back to them. You got doctors and nurses there to answer your questions. Your results come quick. It's a sweet setup. You got to check them out. Letsgetchecked.com. Gemelli 30 is going to save you 30% off your entire order. So, okay, look, I'm not going to bark at people like I've done in the past, and I'm not going to try to go crazy here because I'm so passionate about this. So I'm going to try really, really hard to keep it chill, but really let you have an understanding of the problems that are going on out there. I'm not going to comment and make videos on people that have passed away by trying to get clicks off of them and use that, etc. I've been instructed to do that in the past, and I've done it in the past, and I'm uncomfortable doing it, and I'm never doing it again. I'm just not. However, I do have to point out that there has been an abundance of needless, senseless deaths in our community. You've all seen it. Like I said, I'm not going to start picking out names and try to get clickbait. That's not what this video is for. But it has to at least be brought up. We've seen a lot of people that we looked up to, some people that we haven't. Doesn't matter. All right? Some people that have been very successful in what they're doing. But at what cost? At what cost? And this is why I stress this so much. And it's like, you know, I used to get angry when I'd get the bros that would respond to me and start calling me names and saying all this and that and saying that I don't know what I'm talking about. Look, it's not that I don't know what I'm talking about. And it's not like I think I know everything in the world. But I think it's pretty common sense. When you see all of these people talking about all these massive cycles they're doing and doing this and doing that, and they're just ridiculously sized to the point where it's just craziness, and they're dropping like flies, and it's not anything new. It's just happened more so a little bit lately. It kind of came in bunches. This is something that goes on all the time, and not enough people pay attention to it because it's not always somebody mainstream that it's happening to, but it's happening to so many people in our community. These huge doses might get you bigger. I am not telling anybody out there that these doses aren't going to be the types of doses that are going to get you to even crazier levels. I've never really said that, but I'm saying, do you need that much to make gains and get a lot of size? The answer is no. All right, you can gain a ton of size without doing these psychotic dosings. I see people running 4 and 5 gram cycles where they're running that per week. People running a gram of test or more. Why? That is so unnecessary. If you literally feel like you can't make gains without that kind of amounts of steroids, there's an issue. There's an issue with steroid abuse. You have a misconception on what you're actually getting. Look, I always tell people, are you going to make $1 million doing this? And the answer 99% of the time is no. And so why would you ever risk anything if you're not making a ton of money? Because you want to say that you have a pro card? You want to say that you won a trophy? I mean, that's great. I get it, I guess. Is that worth losing 10, 15, 20, possibly 30, 40 years off your life? Who knows? Some of these guys are using steroids at 20, 21 years old and dying by the time they're 30. They probably could have lived till they're 70 or 80. I've seen so many people that regret it later. They shrivel up into, like, think about what's going to happen to you later. All of the internal strain by using these mega doses is going to destroy you later. All of these guys that you see that were mass monsters, and then you see these pictures of them when they're like 50, 60, and they're shriveled up into nothing, and they're broke down, walking with canes, limping everywhere, having trouble getting out of bed, susceptible to injuries. It's because of this yo-yoing up and down and all the strain you're putting on yourself internally, externally. And who knows? I mean, it's not like these guys are going around publicly announcing like all of the internal problems they're having with organs, kidneys, liver, who knows what. So, I see all of these people preaching these huge, massive cycles and telling people to just stay on forever and don't come off and stay on year round. And even if they're at that, which they shouldn't be doing, then their supposed cruise dose is just like a 400 or 500 milligrams where it's like you're just staying on. That's not a cruise. That's not a cruise at all. Not even close. I mean, that's like speeding. That ain't no cruise. So, and look, do you have to run like ridiculously? I'll even come on and say I'm a conservative doser, but there's a certain point you got to go to get results, obviously. But it's just like anything else. It's like you don't just keep taking aspirin because you feel like you got a worse headache and let's take more and more. It'll kill you eventually. I mean, all of these things, they're not natural for you, and they're doing things that are really problematic internally. You can last on them and make them work for you if you run them, moderately, safely, with discipline, with consistency, with respect. But when you start abusing them, they're going to abuse you back way more than you're actually abusing them. Trust me. You don't need a gram of testosterone. I did the video talking about whether you needed 500 milligrams of testosterone to make gains. You don't need to be running oral steroids 12 weeks or stacking them and running them at full doses stacked. And you don't need to do this. You don't need to just stay on and not PCT and do these things. You don't need to do these things. And if you're going to do these things, if you're dead set on it, one, realize that that's on you when something goes wrong. Two, don't encourage other people to do it. Don't do that. Don't bring other people into this with you when you know in your heart that it's bad and wrong. Don't advise other people that it's okay or glorify it or, brag about it like it's something good. It's not. I don't care if you become a pro off of it. Even if you make money off of it, I don't care. Don't put other people in that kind of harm's way. You don't have to run mega doses to make gains. If you feel like, and it's fine. To be a pro, you might have to do that. Is it worth your life? Are you going to make $1 million? Are you going to be that small, tiny, little, minute fraction of a percent that actually makes it and actually gets a sponsor and gets paid and gets big? And if you can do that, as hard as that is it worth it? Is it worth it to say that you did it, to have notoriety, but then be talked about somebody that died too young? Or somebody that as they grow old is a fraction and a shell of themselves and never gets to enjoy life? You got to ask yourself that, and especially if you're just an everyday person doing this, that's not a competitor. That's even worse. They have at least a tiny, and it's not, to me, it's not justifiable, but it's better than just being an everyday dude or woman that feels like they need to run pro type doses. That's even worse. So unnecessary. It's not, I promise you, there's so many compounds that you can run at lower doses like Test, Deca, Tren, D-Bol, Anadrol, Superdrol. No, your Mastrons, your Primobolins, those need to be ran a little bit higher, but they don't have to be abused either. You're going to make great gains on them. But some of these can be run far lower than people run them. And I've done separate videos on how to use and dose, so watch those if you're curious. But look, I'm not trying to lecture, talk down, but you know, it's something I really feel strongly about, and it's protecting all of you that are watching. I feel like you come to this channel, and look, that's why there's different types of channels, and some people like, and I'm not going to say names, but like some of the craziness that gets thrown on out there, or, you know, somebody that's more comical or whatever, you know. I don't want to say too much. Anyway, there's different types of channels. I feel like if you come here because you know that you're not going to have somebody telling you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear, and somebody that actually does care about you guys and has taken the time out to actually educate you on how to take care of yourself. I was raised a certain way. Look, I do fucked up things too, just like anybody else in the world. Okay, so anybody that acts like a holy roller or they're perfect, whatever. Okay, save that shit. Save that for politicians. That's not what normal humans act like, because nobody is perfect. But I have a very strong motive in this regard for you guys to keep you safe. And I feel like, you know, if God's blessed me with certain knowledge and gifts, and utilize them properly and share them properly, have a voice if you have one, and use it the right way. So that's it, everybody. That being said, stay tuned for plenty more to come. Dylan Gemelli, signing off.